streamlines which I am shown in the blue color, they are the streamlines and they are all concentric about the center point. See, that means if I take the upstream as well as the downstream, and what I shown here, no, to the right hand side of it, that means they are concentric about your. So there are a number of streamlines. I'm trying to show one or three or four streamlines, but there are a number of streamlines which are concentric in manner, or we can call it as, maybe if you consider the whole flow from axial flow from inlet to exit as a pipe, they all look like concentric cylinders. This is the first thing what we have to consider. The second point. So as I have told already, the velocity is three dimensional. The velocity is three dimensional in nature, and I am going with your Cartesian coordinate. That is your r theta z coordinate. This is z, this is r, this is theta. So if I go with the Cartesian coordinates, I can write the velocity as the component as Vz, Vr plus V theta, which is equal to same thing what we used to represent in case of a Cartesian code, that is Vx, Vy plus Vz. This is for the Cartesian. Because here I am going to, in axial flow compressor, I am going to use the Cartesian. This is in cylindrical coordinates. Okay. Now, when I look at it, what is my Vz? Vz is nothing but your velocity in the flow direction. And now, when I look at the theta, your V theta is equal to your velocity of the well. This is in the flow direction. This is in the tangential direction. So that's where we have the well velocities. So V theta is equal to Vw and Vz is equal to V flow. So now I can write the corresponding velocity, the cylindrical coordinate, I can rewrite it as Vz plus, sorry, this is Vf actually, Vf, well, Vr plus V theta. So this is the Vw. V theta I can write it as Vw. So Vf plus Vr plus Vw. So this is, I call it as equation number maybe 1. Now look at this. For a steady flow condition, if I look at the corresponding sketch, for a steady flow condition with particular properties of the fluid such as pressure, velocity, density, that means if these things are constant, what will happen? The variation of velocity in the corresponding r directions should be 0. That means your Vr1 should be equal, if I take this streamline as 1, this streamline as 2, so Vr1 should be equal to Vr2. That's the meaning of it. So that there is no variation in that. So they are parallel to each other. That means dVr, if I try to represent the same thing in terms of differential form, the dVr will be equal to 0. So the third point which I am going to say is, for a steady flow which is concentric streamlined, let me call it as concentric streamlined, which we already discussed, and concentric and streamlined for this kind of a thing. The properties of the fluid such as the velocity, the pressure, maybe you can, if you want, you can take temperature and all, but still we are looking at only flow properties, Vp and density. So and density are constant and there is no velocity changes in r direction. What is the meaning of it? That means dVr is equal to 0. Where, see, already we have defined. What is r? R is the radius at any concentric streamline from the axis. So here my axis is my reference. Okay. Now when I have taken this particular thing, let's try to look at the how are my pressure gradients varying with it. So if I take this particular, if I take a small differential element, that means if I take a small, let me change the color. If I take a small differential element, something like this, so at a distance of r, making angle of theta. Fine, I'm going to take a small element. Fine. So let it be, I think, it's an angle of theta. And so if I take, this is with respect to your axis. So this is where your axis is there. And this is small elemental radius dr, and the pressure acting in this element, if I call this as P, and on the other side of it, it is P plus a small incremental pressure change. And if I consider the center point of it, so in this thing I do have my velocity of whirl. Already we have called this as velocity of theta. And pressure at this particular point is how much it will be? It will be P plus dP by 2. Fine. What I can call here, actually, the fourth point I can write, the radial pressure gradient can be obtained by considering this is a small fluid element what I have considered. I can write the radial pressure gradient can be obtained by considering a small or differential. Considering a differential means it's a small differential fluid element, which already I showed to the right hand. Okay. Now let's go back to a little bit of fluid mechanics. As I told that it's from the fluid mechanics. So from the fluid mechanics, this is for rotational flows. If you have studied some kind of an fluid dynamics, actually, fluid mechanics, for a plane circulating flow, that is some kind of a fluid element which is acting like a plane and which is rotating with a radial equilibrium conditions. You can refer to any of the fluid mechanics book for the derivation, whatever it means, for this radial equilibrium conditions. So it is given by my pressure change dP by dr is equal to rho into V omega square. That is, if you want to be very specific, actually it should be V theta. So here we call it as. So this is the expression. Fine. This is the expression what we try to use from the fluid mechanics. That is rho dp by dr. That is pressure change. dp by in the particular direction. dp by dr is given by rho into v theta square by r. Now this expression I will modify to our requirements. Okay. 2 can be written as, see, 2 equation 2 can be written as, just I am doing a modification, rho I am going to bring it down here. So it is dp by dr is equal to v omega square by r. So I am just modifying this according to our turbometer requirement. So I have one expression with respect to the velocity, and then if I want to analyze it, I am going to consider a small fluid element. Then going back to my fluid mechanics background, what is the expressions? And this v omega is nothing but your rotation, tangential this thing. Okay, and this is related to your corresponding ball velocity, tangential velocity, which is P naught is equal to P, your static pressure, plus rho into V square by 2. This is the thing. Now, as I told, in this particular flow, my V is 3-dimensional. Therefore, I can write P naught is equal to, you have your static pressure which is P plus rho into, we have all the components, that is Vz square by 2 plus, that is your Vf. Vz square by 2 is means Vf, and you have your Vr square by 2, then your Vw square by 2. And already we have seen that Vr square is equal to 0 because my V variation of velocity in my r direction is 0. So my Vr is equal to 0. The same equation I can write it as P is equal to, so P naught is equal to P into P plus rho into Vf square by 2 plus your Vw square by 2. So I am calling this as equation number 4. Okay. Now this represents the total pressure actually. If I want to get the corresponding, what is the variation? What is the variation at each and every point along the from the axis towards your maybe the casing at any given point? If I want to do, I need to differentiate it. So differentiating equation 4, differentiating equation 4 with respect to r, because r is the one which is a varying parameter radius. So I can write it as dp naught by dr is equal to dp by dr plus rho into, so I can write this as Vf square, I can write this as Vf into your df by dr and rho into Vw into dw by dr. So I can differentiate, I can write it like that. So I can write it as Vf into dVf by dr, 2 just cancel out, plus rho into your Vw into dVw by dr. Now substitute for dp by dr from equation 3. Substitute for dp by dr from equation 3. If I substitute, what I am going to get actually? I am going to get dp naught by dr is equal to, so you have rho into Vw square by r plus rho into Vf into dVf by dr plus rho into Vw into dVw by dr. If possible, I can bring the rho to the left hand side, I can write 1 upon rho into dp naught by dr is equal to your Vw square by r plus Vf into dVf by dr plus Vw into dVw by dr. Now look at this actually. So I can see I have Vw here, I have Vw here. I can group and write, and I can write this separately. So I'm going to write in that particular fashion. If I want to write it, so I can write it as 1 upon rho into dp naught by dr is equal to Vf into dVf by dr plus Vw square by r plus Vw into dVw by dr. Okay. Is it possible for me to write this expression in some form which is accepted? Fine. So I can write that as, so this expression, I will write it as in some other form. What is it actually? I can, if I want to write it in some differential form, so let me write that. What is it actually? I can write in that particular form. I will show how it is actually. So this is dp naught by dr is equal to Vf into dVf by dr plus 1 upon 2r square into d into r into Vw whole square by dr. What is it actually? I'll take the differential. See what is it actually? If I take the r square into Vw square, this particular component, what I'm taking, so what I'm circling in this particular thing. How did I get it? I'm trying to write over here. Let me use the red color only. It's easy for you. I can differentiate and show that. So I can write it as r square into Vw square. If I want to differentiate it actually, what I need to do actually, if I want to differentiate it, what is it actually, what I'm going to get actually? The first quantity is 2r into Vw square plus r square into differentiation of the second component, that is 2Vw. Or, so if I simplify this by taking 1 upon 2r square outside, I will get Vw square, 1r extra, that is Vw square by r plus 2r square. If I take outside, I am left with Vw into your corresponding differentiation of it, that is actually your dVw by dr. So I can write the whole thing, that is Vw into dVw by dr plus Vw square by r, the whole thing component, I can write it as d into r Vw square by, that is differentiating this with respect to dr. If I do that, I will get back my this component. Okay. Now I am calling this as expression number 5. So let me call this as expression number 5. Okay. What is the expression? See, this equation is known as the equation 5. The equation 5 is called as or known as simple equilibrium condition. Simple. This is the equilibrium theory. And the total pressure, here the total pressure. Yeah, I am trying to build a relationship between your total pressure. See, I have your total pressure and your corresponding velocities. So I am trying to build the total pressure. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . remains constant throughout the from hub to tip, usually throughout from the inlet to exit. This is what few books they call, and some of the books they give it as from hub to tip. Both are fine. That means constant work at all radius. The meaning of it actually, the meaning of it means it is nothing but the constant work. There is no constant work at all the radii. So that is why this axial flow compressors are much preferable in case of wherever I need some kind of a work, wherever I need little bit of more mass flow rate. Okay. Now, if I look at it, this particular condition, what is the meaning of it? That meaning is my dP naught by dr is 0. That is, if it remains constant for such condition, so I can write phi can be modified as. So what will happen to your phi? So in that case, equation phi, I can write it as. I can write. So Vf into dVf square, I can write it as dVf square by dr square. So I can write that also in that particular fashion. Okay, Vf into df square, I can write it as that particular fashion. So do not worry about it. I can write it as your Vf into dVf square, df by dr plus 1 upon 2r 1 upon 2r square into t into r dot vw whole square by dr is equal to 0. The same equation I can modify a little bit. I can write this particular first one as a differential 1 if I try. So this 2 will go off. I can write it as dvf square by dr square. So this 2 will go off the second one. So if I take 2, that is what will happen. I'm going to get something like this. 2 into 1 upon r square into d into r dot vw square by dr is equal to 0. So 2 I can bring it down. So the same equation I can modify and write it as dvf square by dr square plus 1 by r square into d into r dot vw whole square. vw whole square by dr is equal to 0. I am calling this as equation number 6. So this is the condition for where my stagnation period remains constant. So
Excuse me, sir.
yeah,
Sir, it should be dVf square by dr.
dv no
dVf.
dvf square by dr square. I'm differentiating the second time. No, it should be, see, I have vf. Say I'm going to differentiate this particular thing. It should be dvf square by dr square. That's correct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's correct. I'm differentiating. I'm say what is it actually? You hope you remember. So I can write. What I can show to the right hand side. You have vf square. I can write it as, if I differentiate this, I'm going to get 2vf into dvf by dr. Fine. Are you getting? This is what I'm writing here.
Yes, sir.
So if I take 2 outside, so this is dvf square by dr square. Okay, fine.
Okay, sir.
Now this is the equation 6. So this is one particular condition, case 1, where we have this. Now, then the case 2. See, already equation 5 we have derived. We have got this simple equilibrium theory condition. That's fine. I am trying to show you some of the cases which are very critical and which are very practical. Case 2. If I am dealing with compressible flows, so for the compressible flows, so what we have in terms of enthalpies. We try to express in terms of enthalpy. That is, for compressible flows, the total enthalpy H naught is equal to H plus V square by 2. Fine. And so we have the specific volume given by 1 upon your density. And here from thermodynamics, see from thermodynamics we have two TdS equations. What are those actually? One is 2T into ds is equal to du plus PdV. This is in terms of unit energy and PdV work. And I have another one, 2TdS is equal to, that is in terms of enthalpy, dH minus BDP. This, if you will have to remember, this derivation has been done in your basic thermodynamics class. I am going to take the second one. I am going to take the second equation and try to see what could be done. So if I take the second equation, that is P ds is equal to dH minus VdP, or I can write this as dH minus V. I am writing it as in terms of density, so I can write it as dP by rho. P ds is equal to dH minus dP by rho. If it is in terms of, this is for the static, so this is for static. If it is stagnation, I can write it as in terms of corresponding temperature, that is T naught into ds is equal to dH naught minus dP naught by, this is for total or stagnation. Total or stagnation. Okay. Now, as I told, in case of compressor, maybe as I told, a compressor casing has to be properly insulated. A compressor casing has to be properly insulated. So if that is the case, what will happen? My TdS is equal to 0. This is got to be very clear. This is with insulation. With insulation. What will happen to this equation? The earlier equation I can get, so if TdS is equal to 0, so the equation turns out to be dH naught is equal to dP naught by rho. Fine, this is for now. This expression, if I differentiate with respect to R, what I'm going to get actually if I differentiate this with respect to R. So if I call this as equation number, 7. Let me call this as equation 7. So differentiate equation 7 with respect to R. What I'm going to get actually, dH naught by dr is equal to, you have 1 upon rho as it is. This will be dP naught by dr. Fine. Now, already we have the dP by dr. See, this expression already we have. So, equation number 5. So, this is already equation number 5 we have. That expression will bring it over here. Okay. So, substitute for dP naught by dr from equation 5. Substitute for dP naught by dr from equation 5. So we get dH naught by dr is equal to, so you have the 1 upon rho. So what we have Vf into the rho just simply cancel out. If I go to equation number 5, look at this, 1 upon rho just simply cancel out. Okay, dP by dr, directly I'm substituting for that actually. So 1 upon dP by d rho. Directly I'm substituting for that actually. So this is it will be directly in terms of Vf square. This will be Vf into dVf by dr plus 1 upon 2r square into d into r into Vw whole square by dr. Okay. So I'm calling this as equation number 8. So this is the condition where, so you have your insulation equal to 0. And there's a condition. So if I take the, maybe in case 2, I have a sub case. Fine. If in the case 2, if I take a sub case for constant energy transfer, this is the case 2, where we have the insulation for a compressible flow. In the case 2 itself, if I go for a sub case, that is for constant energy transfer across the tube, across the, we call it as across the compressor radii. That means at all the radii. That means if you have this particular compressor, the radius, so from the axis to its casing, at each and every point, if the energy transfer is almost there is a constant energy transfer, then for this condition, your enthalpy almost remains constant. That is enthalpy H01, H02, H03 from the radius at each and every point is equal to 0. This is a very special case. This is one of the special case. For this condition, what will happen? I will end up with Vf into dVf by dr plus 1 upon 2r square into d into r into Vw whole square by dr is equal to 0. So if I simplify the same thing, I'll end up with the same thing what I got for the case 1 also. So this will be dVf square, that is 2 into dVf square by dr square. The 2 will go to the right numerator, the denominator of the RHS. So this I can write a 1 upon r square into d into r into Vw whole square by dr is equal to 0. And if I call this as equation number 9, so very closely if you observe, equation 9 is very similar to equation 6. Fine. Equation 9 and equation 6. This is equation number 6. And this is equation number 9. So equation 9 and equation 9, fine, are same. And see, I can use this to determine the variation of the flow in your flow and tangential directions. And this equation can be used to determine the flow velocity and the tangential component velocity. I call it as determine the flow and the tangential velocity. Fine. So we have seen some of the, there is one special case in the year also. We can, if you look at it, there is one more case 3 which is very simple, which is free vortex flow. So very simple free vortex flow. That is for a free vortex flow. What is it actually? Free vortex flow means my V omega is equal to 0. See, already we have seen my velocity in the VR direction is 0. So for this particular case, where my VR is equal to VW is equal to 0. So this equation I will end up with your, I can write dVF square by dr is equal to 0. What is this condition? What is this means? This means that Vf is constant with a radial stream, that is upstream, and radial is constant along the stream. Along the streamlines are varying in the radial direction. So these are the special cases what we looked in. So the case one was with respect to for an incompressible flow. Then we looked at the compressible flow where we tried to consider the enthalpy equation, and the case 3 is something is a very simplest one, which is something like I don't have any whirl component of the velocities where your VW is equal to 0. So where your dF square by dr is equal to 0. So these are some of the very simple special cases which we looked in. This is very, very important in case of a radial equilibrium theory where we are supposed to calculate the components of velocities, either VW or your corresponding flow velocities, and your tangential velocities are very, very important. And in case of an axial flow compressor, the radial velocity is almost is 0. VR, that is VR1 or is equal to VR2. That means if I consider the first streamline, the second streamline, the third streamline, which are from the axis, the corresponding radial velocities is where they are similar, and the difference in the radial velocity